Art block is not real. Art block is not real. What is real is your lack of commitment. If you are not committed to the task of putting several hours into something to make the really good product, you are not going to achieve that product. Now, for me, this looked like buying a manga book at the bookstore, a how to draw manga book when I was in 6th grade, and deciding to follow that to some end, at which point I would be able to draw and I would feel that I knew something about it. I was in 6th grade when I made this decision to commit to becoming a good artist, or at all confident in my artwork. I was always drawing art. I was always a kid with a notebook. Growing up as a kid, I was always that person. I was always interested. I was not sure how to proceed when I wanted to do something to get better at it. I think if I remember correctly, this was all triggered and put into action by a small depression. I know that when I was a kid, for whatever reason, I would sometimes experience periods of depression, and not really know much about it. I don't know, maybe because I was considered a bit of a sensitive, intelligent child or something like this. Whatever the reason is, many people suffer from childhood depression and maybe don't know about it and never diagnosed about it. So there was that. I even kind of think there was something happening in the classroom where children were kind of being really unruly in response to current political events. I kind of remember this, and I kind of trust what my intuition tells me about my memory. There's often something really right about that. And I remember there having been some proper class trouble, and I must have just felt like I was coming out of caring at all about that stuff. Whatever it was, I just knew it was childish drama, and I was so angry that I had this lost time, and it kind of felt like I was the only one who was trying to keep my life on track, despite what was happening with our parents and stuff. And just trying to stay above the drama and the hectic stuff that nobody needs in their life. And though it may be hard to recognize that you have fallen victim to that, every time you recognize it, you must stand up and come out of it, or risk losing even more than you originally lost. So I remember it being kind of like a weird time, and I don't think I was wrong. That school ended up shutting down most of the grades, turning into just a school for little kids, early education, after that. So that was imminent. There was something happening. There was going to be a change in management. There had already been a change. So I remember it being kind of a weird time, and it makes sense that a kid would experience depression symptoms or something. But the point is, it's like I woke up one day in the middle of a wreckage, and I was like, I haven't done anything that I love, in a long time, I haven't been working on making myself better or doing things. And I realized this when I was like, 8, 10, sixth grade. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to save up some of this money that I've been getting for, birthday, whatever. And I'm going to go to the bookstore, and instead of buying, like books to read or something, or like a video game, I'm going to buy one of those how to draw manga books. It's like, I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't even know if this is the best approach, but clearly I've been sitting around in my room asking myself, what is the best approach, and never taking a shot. So that was the problem, and it just clicked in my head all of a sudden, and I was like, I have to act on this. If I don't act on this, I'm going to miss how many more years before I open this door again and try to commit myself to something that interests me, which is art. So I did that, and it worked. The trick worked. I don't know that I followed every directional exercise in the book, but it was a start. I started drawing out figures and forms using the techniques, because that was interesting. There's like one interesting technique to learn in the whole book, so better take that and then do whatever I want to do with the rest of it. So I also started copying pictures just to practice, because even in my mind, I didn't want to make a habit out of copying all of these artists, because the goal was that I'd be able to one day craft my own visions, and maybe they're inspired by some other artists, which is natural, but they would be entirely my own visions of my own creative mind. So that was what I did. In regards to those how to draw manga books, we've all seen them. If you're into manga or Japanese culture, you've seen there's a large series of 20 books on how to draw manga, how to draw anime characters, and I had 2 of those. I got 2 of those. I got one that was about manga, I got one that was about anime, and I copied pictures out of there. I just drew them, replicated them a couple times, and that helped me like start to create images that I deeply desired to see on the page that I had made. That was the first time I sort of felt this amazing power that I had to create incredible artworks and stuff that would represent my style. Even if I wasn't quite where I wanted to be yet, I was still in the final stages of something that I had been idly doing for a long time. So I just wanted to share that little story, because that's how this whole thing started for me, I think, as in terms of becoming a professional about being an artist.